Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into my very first Winter Thought episode. If you're listening to this while you're doing your winter assignments, chores, or you're just bored and you want to hear what I have to say, well, I thank you for your time investing into this because I really wanted to do a podcast series for a very long time, and now here's my chance. And I wanted to take this time to talk about how my second semester at JMU went and how it compares to my first semester at JMU. And the question that really stuck with me all of this semester that just finished a few days ago was which semester was harder. And I guess now I can finally answer this once and for all on this podcast series. And the answer is it's not really a nominal answer after all, because let me tell you why. If you look back at my first semester, I was moving to a brand new state, learning a whole new different college culture. It was really an all adjustment to a fresh life. And that wasn't the hard part. I think what was really hard was me trying out for a sport that I've never done before, but I've always wanted to do, which was cheerleading. So yes, back in the end of January of 2023, I filed my candidacy to try out for a spot on the JMU cheerleading team. And I think that was ultimately a good conversation starter to a lot of people that I met, because obviously I'm not a shy person, but when you're in a brand new state, you really have to find ways to get into a conversation. And cheerleading was a good opening conversation. And I really made a lot of friends along the way. Like, I can shout so many people out that were supporting me. And oh man, there's really a lot of people, and I'm still thankful to this day for them really, really, really hyping me up and making me believe that I did this. Even though I came short and I didn't make the team, I still made friends along the way. So while I was a candidate for the cheerleading team, I also wanted to do a sport that I've done for a very long time, which was fencing. So on days that I wasn't fencing, I was campaigning for the cheer team, and on days that I wasn't campaigning, I was fencing. So obviously that's going to take a lot of time. But let's not forget, I was having 15 credit hours at my first semester at JMU. Not only that I was a full-time student, I was also a candidate to a D1 sport, doing a club sport. So obviously there wasn't a lot of time on my hands, and it kind of explains why I didn't really post a lot of YouTube videos during that time period. And even this semester, I didn't post a lot of YouTube videos. So I think the difficulty here was balancing sports and really to think about how I want to brand myself as a brand new Kentren in Virginia. That was kind of like the obstacle. And it wasn't stressful. I guess what was stressful was the fact that I was homesick and I missed green chili from time to time. Because when I wasn't dating the person I was dating at the time, I will end up missing my mom. And I'll think about Texas. Like, even the Texas accent would make me want to miss home. And New Mexico and Texas, they're neighbors. But hearing the southern accent, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not something I'm used to hearing. And before moving to Virginia, I was really like, oh gosh, the Texas accent, I grouped that with the southern accent. No, now being in the Shenandoah, there's a huge difference between a Texas accent and a southern accent, and the Shenandoah accent and the West Virginian accent. Like, trust me, they're nothing alike. But it got me missing Texas even. So I think that would be the difficulty, was to not get homesick. And it really, really sucked. As I said before on my past YouTube videos about my JMU experience, is that I ended finals week. I was sick on finals week. It was scary. But I don't want to go too much into the detail, because really this Winter Thought episode is more about my second semester. So that's really the whole brief. It was that the fact that I had to balance two sports with 15 credit hours, it was definitely something. But hey, I made it. Now, if you go into my second semester, there were so many things coming at me, like the pressure of needing to find a job after I graduate. What do I do? This is my last time I can have fun. All the emotions was coming at me, and it was so emotional. Like, it really was something I had to balance. And not gonna lie, the fact that I wasn't a candidate anymore got me missing my first semester. Like, my second semester, I was like, oh man, I wish I was a candidate to the JMU cheerleading team. Well, not necessarily, because when I was a candidate, there was times I was stressed, because needing to show the coaches that I'm worthy to be on the team, that is pressure already. I'm not part of the team. I'm a candidate. So I had to definitely work my butt off to show that I deserve a spot, you know? But for some reason, I guess I wasn't enjoying the present moment when senior year started. And so I was like, oh man, I wish I was a candidate again. I wish I was a candidate. I wish I can go back to the good old days. But I learned from history that you can't say you miss the good old days, because then you'll never be happy where you are going to be in the present moment. So my first semester at senior year, which was my second semester here, is that I'm at 13 credit hours. Unlike my first semester, I was at 15. This time at 13. So my workload, on paper, it would seem that it's shorter, but no, it really wasn't. It was a lot more time consuming. So if I was a candidate again to try out for the 2024 to 2025 season, oh my gosh, it would have been complete hell for me, because like a lot of the essays, assignments, it was time consuming, and I was not able to handle that. And let me tell you, I got sick 3 times this semester. 3 times. And the first and second time were a week in between. It was not fun. It really was not fun. I could not handle it. I was really not imagining. And I was worried that I was going to get sick again on finals week this semester, like it did on like my first semester. But it wasn't like that. Thank God. I was healthy, smoother, voila. Like, I will say that. Second semester closed a lot smoother than it did with my first semester. I will say that for sure. It's just throughout the whole second semester, it was a lot more emotional for me, you know, given the fact that I was a senior. Another big difference from my second semester and my first semester is that going into my second semester, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be a cheerleader for James Madison University, so I have to find something to prove the comeback, right? While I was taking more confidence, because I got more experience, going into my second semester, I know JMU a lot more. I know the culture. And the one difference between this semester and last semester was that I've held more study sessions, because, a lot of us, the courses were harder. It was more time consuming. Not a lot of us pick up things slower. So me hosting the study sessions, I was able to help many more of my peers that may need more time to catch on. And when you go to these study sessions, leadership matters big time. Leadership quality matters, because if there's no great leadership in the study session, nothing is going to get done. You might as well just say you didn't study. So that motivated me to make sure that my leadership quality skills are there. And it's not just average, but it has to be the brand new version of me. If it's not going to let me grow, then what gives me the planning and the logistics that I would be a good leader? If I can't lead myself, what makes me think that I can lead others, So I really had to rise above the pain. And interestingly enough, as I was hosting those study sessions, whether it be for my geography class, my research methods class, you name it, I eventually begin realizing that even though I'm not a cheerleader for JMU, I'm a cheerleader at JMU. Because ever since I didn't make the cheerleading team, I still will say, and I've said this before, I may not be a cheerleader at the basketball courts, the football fields, but I will still be a cheerleader around the community to help those who may need it. And even to those people who don't like me, they still deserve to be cheered on, because, who doesn't like success? So after hosting those study sessions and people understanding what they needed, because, sometimes office hours can be very competitive and can be long lines with short hours, hosting that study sessions, I don't regret doing. I didn't do that at my first semester at JMU. Bro, I was figuring things out myself at that time. And let alone I was balancing sports. So of course I wouldn't attend study sessions. But this time around, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like, first semester, of course, I said, you know what? I believe that I'm going to be a cheerleader for JMU. But that didn't happen. So it leads to the next domino effect of, okay, I didn't make it to be a cheerleader, but I guess I'm going to be a cheerleader in a different shape or form, which was part of it was to host study sessions and write encouraging quotes on the whiteboard. And I never thought in my college career I would buy dry erase markers. And whenever I see a dry erase board, I'll just write on it, because I really love explaining things to people. And I was called that I should be a professor one day. I mean, that's an interesting thought. It really was. But yeah, no, so adding more details to my second semester, right? At the beginning of the semester, I did not think it was going to be a big deal that I didn't make it onto the cheer team. But until I realized that the Jonas brothers were coming on college game day, I was like, dang, I could be an inch closer had I got onto the cheer team. I probably would have shook their hands, probably would have gone a selfie with Nick Jonas, because, like, if I wouldn't pass up on a deal, on an opportunity to get a picture with Nick Jonas. But, turns out that I guess it wasn't so much that I'm not a cheerleader. It was more so as in, like, I felt like I wasn't fitting in. What I'm about to say, more vulnerability of mine are going to come out, but who cares? It's the past, so I'll just share it. It's that I just didn't feel like I was fitting in, because JMU's a party school, and me being a senior, I just don't really value. It's not that I don't value, but it's just I don't prioritize drinking and partying as much as I once did. I mean, I'd much rather find jobs. I'd much rather find something that I will enjoy doing long term in my adult life, in my post-college life. And yeah, it sucked getting rejected on jobs that I thought I was going to get, or jobs that I'm really interested in. Didn't get it. Does that mean I stopped trying? No. I'm still going to apply for jobs that will interest me. Even that's part of my game plan in 2024, is to find jobs that will interest me and pitch for myself. Because I believe that I have a good pitch for myself. I believe I can be a great asset to companies that may need me in the future. I believe in that. I believe in myself. I have a strong resume. And the fact that I was a D1 candidate for a D1 sport really gets me to show that I know how to present myself well. I've always known how to present myself well. But that cheerleading, like saying cheerleader, is a huge symbolic name for me. Now, let alone, let's not forget, I was able to get a medal when I was fencing, so not to put fencing on the side or leave fencing on the dust. I mean, trust me, I loved fencing too. I mean, trust me, I got a medal. Representing my home state of New Mexico in a competition. And I got a medal for JMU. That is a story, and that's my first semester at JMU. So that shows that I made contribution. And then secondly, I made a contribution again. I made a comeback in my second semester at JMU by hosting those study sessions. And then those professors that I held those study sessions told me that, hey, I've been hearing you host those study sessions. You do have great leadership. And that shows that I am a cheerleader. And the fact that, like, one of the girls from the cheer team told me that I am a cheerleader, even though I'm not a cheerleader for the team, internally I am, that really shows, like, yeah, I think I made something. Even though the comeback wasn't exactly how I imagined, that's still something. And it's only the beginning. Yes, now it's all about finding the game plan for 2024. So, again, I know I've stuttered here and there, but this is just me being passionate. Like, I'm genuinely speaking from my heart. I'm not making this from a script to script. I'm really trying to say what needs to be said, okay? Look, I persevered. There were some things that were done smoother on my first semester at JMU, and there are some things that I had better moments in my second semester at JMU. But what I'm trying to say ultimately is that you can't really say which is harder, first or second, because everything will have its own hard. Every chapter has its own obstacle. And as you get stronger, then obviously there's going to be things that are going to be thrown at you harder. And you're just going to have to get better at knowing how to deal with it. The hottest fire makes the strongest iron. I will never forget that. So I'm really, really proud of how far I've came, even though I didn't get the exact grades that I wanted to at the end of this semester. Who cares? The accomplishments were so much symbolic. I did a family tree essay. Oh my gosh. I had a lot of difficulties wanting to forgive my dad in the past 2 years. But guess what? Because of that essay, now I'm motivated more than ever. No, forget motivated. I'm disciplined to understand that finding solutions and learning how to go forward is much more valuable than thinking to cut a bridge. Because if you cut a bridge, you're done. Like, that's probably not an effective, and that's not efficient. I don't think it's efficient. Maybe if you are, like, probably hurt or something, then yeah, by all means, then maybe you do have to distance yourself from someone that was toxic to you in the past. Not saying that my dad was toxic. A lot of the courses that I took this semester really connected with my personal life. Really did. And the fact that those courses intermingled with each other, that can have its overlap, really says a lot. Like, this was super symbolic. Like, my political Western theory class got me to be a better thinker and got me to be a better salesperson if I were to ever sell things. And then my geology class got me to learn how to forgive family members. And then my statistics class taught me that you can't really be biased because you have to say it how it is. Just because it doesn't fit your narrative, then so what? You have to accept reality. And then my Buddhism class taught me how to be more compassionate towards other people, that maybe towards people that may not understand. I mean, like, I used to think that, okay, my perspective is probably not the only way, but like, why can't other people understand my things? But did I ask myself, can I understand them? And that's part of empathy. So I really think this big accomplishment I've done for this semester was the fact that the courses changed who I am for the better. Again, there's no which is harder. It's only, can you become stronger? And I hope you can take away from this. I mean, if I went on tangents, please forgive me. Comment down below that I shouldn't be making on tangents. But after all, if you enjoyed this, let me know. But until then, I think I'm going to have a guest on for the second episode. But until then, I want to make this one short. I don't want to make this more than 20 minutes. But after all, peace. I'll see you soon in the next episode. Bye. Thanks.